So, as many of you know on here, like it's no secret. Anyone who's ever known me online or offline knows I have mental health problems and that it's been going on most of my life. And I've had several diagnoses, and I've always worried that it was getting worse and that I was on the brink of maybe possibly having schizoaffective disorder because I have been formally diagnosed with borderline, bipolar, and ADHD, inattentive ADHD, but I knew it was getting worse, and I thought that there was a real emphasis on the part of my experience that's a bit delusional or heavy on something about not realistic, something between here and psychosis, which could be part of borderline, I guess. But the problem is that it was fantasy oriented sometimes, but not. Um, and I think that if I were to explain it, I would say schizoaffective probably makes sense. I just didn't want to have it on my file, and I didn't want to have schizophrenic on my file as well. And if I should have been diagnosed schizophrenic years ago, then I wasn't. Um, I was sick for about a month, and I got up to a lot of stuff, and I didn't really feel like I was here in this world, but I felt like I was going through a spiritual experience or a religious experience, and I felt like there was more to it. And it all started because I was downtown at this place, and I've heard it wasn't a voice in my head, but I knew it. The moment I heard it, I was absolutely certain that I was hearing it from God. And I'm trying really hard not to question that now because a part of me has seen so much in the last few weeks. I don't want to question what I believed to be true and what I'm pretty sure is still true. I just am doubting myself, but I'm trying not to doubt the facts. And because this is subjective, it's hard to be certain. But to me, it seemed like God had said, "You need to stop. There's something you don't know. You need to talk to people." And that was about it. That was just the entirety of it. So I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know when to talk to people. I just knew it was time to talk. And I can feel it sometimes when I'm anxious, something about my throat chakra, whatever you want to call it. Something is I realize that I don't mind talking on here, and I'm actually really happy and comfortable sometimes talking on my YouTube account. Um, I'm not really sure what happened, but my mental health was questionable, and I've had a lot of difficulty with what seemed like hacking and what seemed like people interfering with my health and my privacy and interfering with my life. And the more I talk about it, the more I get told that I need to take my medications and address my delusions, and I need to take this all very seriously because it's important to take my mental health seriously, and I need to take my medications, and that I'm imagining all of this, and that have I ever seen the movie Beautiful Mind? And yes, there's a lot of subjective. There is there's a version of this story that isn't true anymore that I have to find a way to release. But the information that I acquired during this very long psychotic break was invaluable information that I'll need for the rest of my life. And I do know things now that I didn't know before because they were below the surface. Everything that I thought I knew was at face value, and it was with a level of operating in the world with such a level of trust that was too much. I wasn't safe, and I didn't know I wasn't safe. And in order to overcome where I was at, I needed to learn some new things about myself and life and just things I didn't know about and didn't need to see. And I wish I could unsee them, but it is time to grow. Um, and I hope maybe I'll overcome it later. I'm not sure. I lost my job. I lost my Facebook account. Everything I've been saying sounds like conspiracy theory stuff, and I think a lot of people can't hear me saying these things because I have to listen to other people when they say, "You're saying too much, you need to stop," because I might be threatened by it, and there's a lot of events that have been occurring lately. It's little thoughts like that. Like, I know now that not everything that you see is what's true. You know, I might be here posting videos, but who's to say what gets around and how? But we could just accept that and acknowledge that the things that aren't seen are maybe meant to not be seen. Like, if I can't see it with my own eyes, if we all can't see it here in the objective world, then it's not meant to be seen. It's nobody's business, and it's wrong. It shouldn't if it's outside of what we see. But then I think about things like how I spent so much time in Facebook groups on my old account. And in a way, that's outside of the public eye too, right? So, have I seen parts of the world that were true to some extent, but things that we weren't allowed to speak about? So all this stuff that's conspiracy theory, you know, Facebook takes a whole other turn when you start a new account and you're only seeing what other people are seeing. Facebook, there's different realms of Facebook depending on how you use it. And the Facebook I'm seeing now is actually kind of sad and horrifying. It's a lot of strange negativity that I wasn't seeing before. And the world's gone through a shift of some kind. And maybe it was in my absence, because maybe when I leave and I come back, there's things that happen in my absence that I'm not able to see. So which one's the one that is the dream and which one's the reality? I know that I'm trying to take my medications properly, but I also feel like I'm in a position where I'm not being threatened, but I am being pushed around a little bit, where when I talk to people, they ask me if I have drug use. They ask me if I'm taking my medication, and they tell me I have to be an artist, kind of, not really directly, but they say like stuff like, you know, I can't say I'm a psychic, but they don't say it directly. I can't say that that's what they're saying, but it's like I've gone too far and I've created some weird hysteria. And I can tell now that people I talk to are not comfortable with me, or maybe they are, but there's something weird that every person I meet, it's like an uncomfortable setup. Sometimes it feels like being in a conspiracy theory, and I'd like to not be here, but I think there's not really any going back because I did get here. And I could try my best to try to forget it and move on with my life, but I know that I got here for reasons. And sometimes I just want things to go back to the way that they were, but other times I know that that's not going to happen. Um, I don't wanna live the rest of my life, like, living like I'm in a conspiracy theory bubble, but I'm on a level of seeing the world a little differently than I did before, and, just more going on than I could see before. Um, People keep telling me to leave my house and just to join them outside, and I don't I wish I could, but right now I need to be alone for as long as possible, and that's hard because I don't like being alone. But right now, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life anyway, at least if I stay with this. And I know you can choose to walk away from it, but how would I ever forget it? I don't think I can, but I could if I tried, right? I think I probably could. I think if I am in a delusion, if I'm in a plane of reality that's not really where everyone else is, if I'm trapped here, then I could probably find my way back. But what if I'm here for a reason? I don't think I'm in hell or anything. I sometimes think that I'm in limbo, but I also know that every time I've ever had one of these, one of the after effects of that is you think you've died, but then eventually you don't remember it that way anymore. So, um, I don't see any point in using labels anymore, like psychic, anything like that. Um, I don't feel particularly creative, and I go into these states now, like PTSD stuff, like night terrors where I'm jumping up out of bed at night. And like last night, I think some cats were fighting at like 2 in the morning or something. And I thought someone was out there killing cats. So I jumped up and I like boarded up all my doors. And I feel like for the rest of my life, I'll be running for my life. Like, I'll always be like wondering, looking over my shoulder. It's not like that hasn't happened before though. Like, this is the this is the fourth time I've had one of these major episodes, and I know every time I've always come out of them feeling for a while like I'm not safe and like I'll never be okay again. Um, there's just an odd calmness to this one this time too. Like, in a way, I think I'm better off than I've ever been before. Um, because I finally know the truth, and I finally know that it's hard to access the truth. And going forward as an adult, sometimes we're all in this together, right? I feel like I'm not separate from society anymore, just being kind of bullied a bit and barred from being a member. I'd really like to not act like an asshole on the surface anymore for sure, but sometimes it's just an automatic defense mechanism to kind of seem a little bit rude, especially when I perceive that other people are being kind of rude to me. And people don't trust me. They don't think it's possible for someone to be like so many different kinds of authentic. Like I have to choose between which version of myself am I really. I don't really want to play like this weird spy game or anything like that. I don't want to have anything to do with that stuff. But I might have to. I don't want to play this like detective game with people, but I don't really know what I'm offering. When when I'm told that I have to be an artist, and then I come on here and I use my face, and took me a while, a few weeks before I thought I could be ready to talk again. I think that this is art. I think that this is the kind of art I like. I'm really not in the mood to paint on canvas or anything like that right now. Just like, if it's not for a community that you belong to, then why contribute? And I know people don't understand the story. The full story was so much more intense than anyone will ever be able to understand. I wouldn't even be able to write it down as a novel if I wanted to. I was never against anyone. It may have looked confusing on the surface or ambiguous, but I wasn't trying to show people up or be an asshole. I dealt with a lot of weird spiritual stuff. And if anything, I feel closer to everyone in the world now, but I also I don't fear people on the whole. I fear the part of them that I fear the side of them that comes out when there's everybody's got a side to them that's not their full self. They've got like if you look at people and you can see sometimes that there's more than one part to them, and I would never fear the part that they're intending to be. That part is the part that they're trying their hardest to be, and that's the part that should be our business. But sometimes people have undertones, parts of them that they don't even know exist, the part that would stab you in the back, even if it's your best friend or someone that you love so much. They just gathers up in this like cesspit of something that they can't show you, something that they really battle with. And this undertone, this shadow, that's the side you have to worry about. And that's the side that if it gets angry enough, it might just lash out or try to cause you harm or contribute to your downfall. It's not common for people to just lash out and physically or violently attack people, but it happens. And it's not the side of them that the person wants to be. Nobody wants to be that person unless they come to terms with being that person, and that's the person they choose to be. But I don't think that people choose to be that person. But I know now that sometimes people can become their worst selves, and it's not their fault. It's their life experience that causes them to slip into that side. And I know when I think about the times that I'm that person, in my mind, it's a self-defense thing. It's something that when you snap, you're not doing it for fun or entertainment. But sometimes it's also like it feels like you don't know if it's a joke. You don't know if it's real or funny or damaging. The more a person can't be their authentic self all the time, the less people trust that person. And I don't know what they see when they see me when I'm out being myself. I don't know who people see as this what the shadow side is that people see that I don't see. That's something that I don't see either. But I know that when people look at me with disgust or hatred or anger, it's not always about me. It's also about them, but it's both. Nobody's innocent. Everybody's got stuff underneath that they don't really need to face or they don't know how to face. And it's sort of why we're all here to take care of each other and help each other face those parts that they're not able or ready to face. But sometimes it's nobody's business too, right? Like there's things I know now that I can finally have the clarity. Something's changed and my brain's rearranged itself and I'm like in a new phase or something. and it's been a big one, and I have a lot to figure out that I just blindly wasn't able to see before. I have a lot of things like guilt and shame and stuff to truly contend with this time and not to just I mean, not that I was trying to do it before, but I wasn't ready yet, and now I have to face aspects of myself that, they don't have to exist, but I can face my actions, I can face my choices, and take responsibility for things in my life for sure, and I'm trying to. It's just I feel like I'm in a new body or I'm a new person, and even though I have a lifetime of memories under this new perspective, they don't feel like they fit right, and, part of me is like, why should I even choose to go over all of these aspects of my past that are they were there and at the time they meant one thing, so why switch it up now and put this new perspective and try to learn and grow from how I could perceive the past? Like, why torture myself and do that? But I would prefer if I'm moving forward to grow from that and to protect myself a little bit better. So there's a handful of things that I can see now that I at the time, my whole life, I wasn't able to see them that way, and now I see them as something very different. And I don't wanna be fractured, but I also don't need people to create fractures where none exist. I don't know how long it sounded like I'm rambling about stuff that people don't relate to. Maybe a lot of the time when I'm talking, I just sound like I'm saying nonsense, and maybe not very many people can really relate to what I'm saying. I don't have the energy to fight people off. Like, I've never been here to fight people, even when I'm just showing off different sides of myself. Like, the other day, the camera wasn't even on, but I didn't know if it was on or not because technology, you don't know anymore. I just feel like for a while there, it was very much like I realized just how watched we really are. If we're online, we're watched. It's happened before, happened the last time for sure. But then again, I also had a lot of really weird behaviors and people calling me, and then again, this time people were messaging me and asking me how I people I never knew, people from oh, this one was a heavy one. I thought I was gonna have identity theft or something, like, the second a person appears or is having a manic episode, suddenly everything goes all whack online. I felt like there was targeting and things going on, and it's more mystery than I can it's only one I only have one brain. I can't figure out all this stuff, and it's not my business, but thank you everyone for terrorizing me and helping me learn for the future reference how to protect myself better from being terrorized or helped, whichever it was. See, that's what's so fucked up. And I'm not sure if I'm ever going to know the difference. I don't know when someone's terrorizing me or assisting me, and maybe it's both at the same time, right? It's not a very safe way to live, but they both co occur. So I just try to be grateful at the end of the day that everyone's okay. At least I hope they are. Because whatever just happens, it feels like it just like exploded like a nebula, and the ripples just reached out and like a network just shattered and caused an impact with everyone I know. And I lost my Facebook account, I think, but maybe I'll try again later and see if I can get in. I'm not really sure who has rights to it right now. or what they're using it for. I just couldn't figure out how to shut it down. And I'd like to believe that people were trying to help, but at the very least, when you lose your autonomy like that, and when you're undergoing something that is God's will or intention, you can't have any control or say over what humanity does. That's everyone's business. It's everyone's business to contend with whatever spirit is asking you to do, and I chose to take that. I don't take my missions from people. I don't work for people. I work for God, or whatever we want to call that higher power. That's who I work with, not people. And I do work with people too, but that's not my priority. So when I have to do something and I have to have faith in it and I have to act and I have to lose my mind in a certain way, you know, I become like a channel for a lot of deities to wage war. And sometimes humans are there too, and they've got theirs, and it can get scary. And I don't think that what I did was wrong. I just think that it's going to be hard to walk going forward through it all. I was thinking about maybe, I don't know, I'm not getting a lot of information from the outside world, and they're not communicating with me very much. And I don't know what's going to happen when I go to my next appointment, but I have a therapy appointment coming up, and I'm hoping it goes okay. I'm scared of it, but I'm going to try to not be afraid. And yeah. So it's a different kind of fear, to fear for your life like that every day, like that. Like I remember being here before. I know I've been here before, and it gets better. But this time it feels like it could be fatal. And it's not because I did anything wrong, it's just because, I mean, I did a few things wrong, I guess, but nothing that justifies this, so it can't be right. There must be something wrong. I just keep trying to make sure that I can feel my heart. That's the important thing right now. That's when I feel grief. And that's real. So that's what I need to stick with, because if I lose that, if it cuts it off and all I feel is my throat, my head, or my lower chakras or something, that's not alignment. This is my center. And this is what I need to get back to. And if it feels like I can't find it, then I'm in the wrong place. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to go because it's already been half an hour and I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just feeling tired and I don't have the energy. I'm just going to go sleep. Bye bye.